And this is a reminder here that, Archax is working with multi-chains, ladies and gentlemen, not just one. So they're working with multiple chains. And you can see right there the other chains that they're working with. But look at these numbers, for instance, here. These are massive numbers we're talking about. Asset manager funds that Archax has tokenized on HBAR. BlackRock, 10 trillion asset under management. State Street, 4.12 trillion under management. Fidelity, 4.9 trillion assets under management. Crypto total market cap right now, 3.26 trillion. You see this? That's why when you hear people talk about, XRP being the #1 market cap at some point, it's because of the level of utility that it can provide to the new digital era of finance. That's why legislation is so important. This is why so many influencers have taken this down crypto winter to try to say that XRP ledger is outdated, it's no longer valid, all of this crazy nonsense.
In late 2017, XRP surged over 63,000%, while Bitcoin managed only about 1,300% gains, proof that a flip can go from a pipe dream to reality. You've heard it touted for years. Bitcoin is king, the unshakable digital gold that redefines wealth in a boundaryless world. But pause for a moment and imagine a scenario where the challenger, a protocol built for speed and settlement, quietly inches past the pioneer's throne, not by sheer market cap, but by seizing the narrative of dominance. What does flip truly mean in this feverish arena of coded ledgers and institutional heavyweights? Could a second-string contender really eclipse someone who led the charge? In this video, we'll peel back the veil on the data, the history, and the legal drama that have shaped XRP's journey from underdog to potential market leader. By the end, one question remains: can XRP truly flip Bitcoin? Let's find out.
Can XRP flip Bitcoin? In the next 15 years, one cryptocurrency might overtake Bitcoin and claim the top spot. If the following 5 factors align, that cryptocurrency could very well be XRP. Number 1. A successful launch of an XRP ETF that gains significant traction among investors. Number 2. Ripple's cross-border payment technology dominates globally, becoming the standard for international transactions. Number 3. XRP adapts to emerging trends by integrating cutting-edge technologies like AI. Number 4. Ripple assists governments in tokenizing their national currencies, creating localized stablecoins for secure and efficient transactions. Number 5. A significant outflow of liquidity from Bitcoin into altcoins occurs, with investors choosing XRP over Ethereum as their preference.
In the closing months of 2017, crypto markets hit a fever pitch as Bitcoin marched uphill to nearly $20,000 per coin. Amid that frenzy, another token emerged as an unexpected champion. From January to December of that year, XRP catapulted from a fraction of a cent to over 70 cents, representing a staggering gain of more than 63,000%. Bitcoin, by contrast, climbed roughly 1,300%. Imagine investing a modest $10 into each asset at the start of the year. Bitcoin would have turned that into about $140. But XRP would have transformed $10 into more than $6,300, enough to buy a new MacBook. Those raw numbers aren't just trivia, they're proof that an altcoin can outpace the pioneer when market conditions align. That rally rewrote expectations, showing that flipping dominance isn't a gimmick. It's a historical fact engraved in on-chain data. But for XRP, that milestone was just the beginning of a longer, more complex story. Long before tales of flipping Bitcoin swirled, XRP's developers at Ripple labored to solve a real pain point: slow and costly cross-border transactions. Traditional banking rails, like SWIFT, often take days to settle payments and charge fees ranging from 1 to 5% per transfer. Ripple's solution leverages the XRP ledger, a decentralized network of independent validators that reach consensus roughly every 3 to 5 seconds. That translates into near-instant settlements, with fees measured in a few fractions of a cent. By tapping XRP as a bridge currency, financial institutions can convert one fiat asset to XRP, move it across the network, and reconvert it to another fiat, all within seconds. Major banks in Japan and Mexico ran pilots, and global remittance giants like MoneyGram joined hands with Ripple to test on-demand liquidity powered by XRP. These partnerships showcase the protocol's promise, not as a speculative asset, but as a viable tool for trillion-dollar institutions handling real money every day.
Why is XRP called the future of banking? Here's what you need to know in 60 seconds or less. Ripple, the company behind XRP, is solving one of the biggest issues in global banking: slow and expensive money transfers. Right now, banks have to keep piles of cash in foreign accounts just to move money across borders. It's inefficient, costly, and ties up billions of dollars that could be put to better use. XRP changes all of that. It acts as a bridge currency, allowing banks to send money instantly and securely without holding foreign cash reserves. This makes transactions faster, cheaper, and more reliable. Ripple is already working with over 55 countries and is one of the few cryptocurrencies that meet global banking standards, making it a serious contender for the future of finance. With its growing adoption and real-world use cases, XRP may be the key to transforming how money moves around the world.
Before eyeballing Bitcoin's throne, some traders speculated whether XRP could even overtake Ethereum, the programmable blockchain juggernaut. Ethereum's rise rode the wave of smart contracts, decentralized finance, and NFTs, fueling a market cap that eclipsed XRP for most of the past 4 years. In early 2019, however, XRP briefly flipped Ethereum, reclaiming the number 2 spot. That momentary lead hinted that market sentiment could pivot sharply when narratives shift. Ethereum today stands as the primary platform for minting tokens, executing complex contracts, and hosting decentralized applications adopted by enterprises and retail users alike. Yet its network congestion and soaring gas fees create friction points. Institutions often opt for Layer 2 solutions, or even alternative chains for efficiency. That opens a window of opportunity. If XRP's utility with real-world payments gains traction faster than Ethereum's scaling roadmap progresses, market cap and market narrative can tilt in favor of the faster, cheaper contender. At the heart of XRP's advantage lies the XRP ledger's unique consensus protocol, which differs fundamentally from proof-of-work or proof-of-stake models. Instead of energy-intensive mining, a trusted, unique node list of validators agrees on the transaction order, allowing the network to finalize blocks in just a few seconds. This design enables roughly 1,500 transactions per second, dwarfing Bitcoin's 7 and Ethereum's 15 on the main chain. Transaction costs average around 0.00001 XRP, mere fractions of a cent. Ripple also placed 55 billion XRP into time-locked escrows, unlocking 1 billion per month, ensuring a predictable supply.
The XRP ledger, XRPL, is an open-source decentralized blockchain technology that supports the entire infrastructure for XRP. Known for its fast transaction speeds and scalability, the XRPL leverages the XRP ledger consensus protocol to reach a shared state, in contrast to Bitcoin's energy-intensive proof-of-work. This consensus mechanism ensures faster transaction processing and lower energy consumption, making it an eco-friendly alternative.
Every transaction slightly burns XRP, creating a modest deflationary mechanism over time. Those combined mechanics mean the total supply declines slowly, aligning incentives for long-term holders. For institutions moving hundreds of millions, those cost savings compound into millions of dollars. When global payments demand both speed and scale, XRP's technical blueprint gives it a clear edge over blockchains still wrestling with congestion and runaway fee markets. Market cap rankings offer one perspective, but dominance tells another part of the story. When we say XRP flips Bitcoin, we don't mean XRP's total valuation surpasses Bitcoin's multi-hundred billion-dollar fortress overnight. Instead, flipping dominance refers to XRP outperforming Bitcoin in price appreciation over a period, thereby grabbing a larger slice of the total crypto market cap. For example, if the aggregate crypto market is worth $2 trillion and Bitcoin holds $1 trillion, its dominance is 50%. If XRP's price surges such that its slice grows from, say, 2% to 4%, it has eaten into Bitcoin's share even if Bitcoin's price is rising. That shift in dominance often drives headlines, investor sentiment, and money flows, creating feedback loops that amplify the move. Back in early 2018, analysts tracked XRP's dominance peak at nearly 10%, a level rarely reached by any altcoin. Understanding this nuance is key to grasping how XRP can flip Bitcoin without dethroning its market cap.
So it's owned by a founder.
Yes.
Bitcoin is decentralized. It's not owned by anybody. You can buy Bitcoin, but it's not owned by anybody. It's a commodity, like we established earlier. So it's owned by Ripple Labs. That's the name of the company, or the founding company, yeah. And the founders, cumulatively, they own 42% of the XRP supply.
At least it's not 97.
At least it's not 97. I mean, I guess you're better.
I guess you're better than.
This is when XRP will overtake Ethereum and Bitcoin. For XRP to overtake Ethereum, it just needs to be worth $6.70. This is very, very achievable. Now, if XRP was to overtake Bitcoin, it just needs to be worth $15.63. And with a potential settlement coming up, what's stopping XRP?
Yet XRP's journey hasn't been without turbulence. On December 22, 2020, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission filed a lawsuit against Ripple Labs, alleging that XRP qualified as an unregistered security. That legal battle froze XRP trading on major U.S. exchanges, dimming its market presence and shaking investor confidence. Spend months, if not years, in legal limbo, and you miss out on bull market gains. Meanwhile, global markets moved ahead, and XRP's spot dominance waned. But the lawsuit also highlighted XRP's unique position. Unlike many tokens, it faced regulatory scrutiny at the enterprise level, underscoring its real-world ambitions. In recent updates, both parties signaled openness to settlement talks, and Ripple Labs secured victory by 2025. Such an outcome has unlocked billions of dollars in institutional capital, as gray areas give way to clear guidelines. When U.S. exchanges can relist XRP and institutional funds gain confidence, the path to flipping dominance will look far less obstructed than it has for the past 4 years. Amidst this legal drama, another potential catalyst looms: the transition from trusts to exchange-traded funds. Grayscale launched the Grayscale XRP Trust in 2021, offering accredited investors exposure to XRP without holding tokens directly. While that vehicle hasn't yet converted to an ETF, Grayscale's success in spinning its Bitcoin and Ethereum products into ETFs sets a precedent. Meanwhile, major asset managers like BlackRock and WisdomTree reportedly eyed XRP for future filings. An XRP ETF would open the floodgates, allowing institutional and retail investors to deploy capital through familiar brokerage platforms. ETF inflows have driven Bitcoin rallies in multiple markets worldwide, from Canada to Europe. Should a US-registered XRP ETF receive approval, it could channel billions in passive money into the token. That volume would dwarf typical retail-driven pumps and could trigger a swift surge in dominance ratio compared to Bitcoin, replicating patterns we've seen with Bitcoin and Ethereum when their ETFs debuted.
How soon do you see $20 for XRP? When they launch the ETFs and there are problems in the financial markets and they need to source liquidity across exchanges because of Tether, you're going to see XRP zoom past $20. It's not going to be like a slow rise to that level. And that's right in the danger zone, or the no-go zone for me. I think 10 to 13 is a reasonable price for institutional speculation. If you just got ETFs that launched, if you have a need or liquidity crisis, that's when I think you're going to be able to push above that level. And I think it's just going to zoom right past $20 when that happens.
We also have a poll at the top here. Should BlackRock invest in XRP? 71% said yes, 17% said no, and 11% say leftovers. I think that BlackRock will invest in Ripple. It is rumored that Ripple will have an IPO soon. And I think if they do IPO, BlackRock will definitely invest. But it might not be from BlackRock. They might be a shareholder in a company that did invest, or they might just directly invest themselves. That's how this works, okay?
Beyond U.S. courts, regulatory attitudes around the world shape XRP's prospects. In Europe, the Markets in Crypto Assets Regulation, MiCA, went live in July 2024, providing token clarity and legal certainty across member states. That framework explicitly differentiates utility tokens from securities, offering a clearer path for XRP's use cases in cross-border finance. In Asia, Japan's Financial Services Agency has treated XRP as a crypto asset since 2017, allowing exchanges like Bitbank and SBI VC Trade to list it under clear licensing rules. Singapore's MAS also recognized XRP under its Payment Services Act, inviting banks to explore Ripple's payment rails. Switzerland's FINMA and the UK's FCA have also issued positive guidance around tokens like XRP, establishing friendly environments for blockchain innovation. These jurisdictions collectively represent hubs for trillions in payment volume, demonstrating a real appetite for the protocol. If US policy catches up, that alignment could synchronize global flows, increasing XRP's utility and market share, and setting the stage for its narrative flip against Bitcoin's dominance. Macro factors and market cycles could play pivotal roles in timing the flip. Bitcoin's next halving, expected around April to May 2024, slashed its issuance rate in half, often sparking bull runs by tightening supply. While that event boosts Bitcoin, it also attracts fresh capital into crypto generally, rotating between assets. Toward year-end, institutional desks perform portfolio rebalancing ahead of quarterly and annual reports. Tax loss harvesting in late autumn can create dip-buying opportunities. Thanksgiving in the US often ushers in lower volume but heightened momentum, as traders return from holiday and capital flows resume. Earnings season rotations in March and April also demonstrate how capital pivots between risk assets, further influencing patterns. If XRP experiences two consecutive windows, one around Thanksgiving, another in early December, where it outperforms Bitcoin by 50 to 100%, while Bitcoin itself rallies, the dominance shift could become surprisingly self-reinforcing. Understanding these seasonal patterns and aligning them with regulatory news and ETF developments sets the stage for an outsized XRP ascendancy against Bitcoin. No grand tale unfolds without counterpoints. Competing smart contract platforms like Solana and Avalanche promise sub-second speeds and growing ecosystems. Ethereum's Layer 2 rollups, optimistic and ZK-based, aim to slash fees while preserving security. Central banks explore CBDCs on both private and public networks, potentially diluting XRP's payment niche. Macro headwinds, rising interest rates, geopolitical tension, or fresh regulatory crackdowns could spark market-wide sell-offs, dragging XRP down alongside Bitcoin. Even the best narrative flip can stall if broad sentiment sours. Yet XRP's strength lies in its laser focus on finance rather than generalized decentralized applications. Its network effect in cross-border corridors, partnerships with multinational banks, and clear escrow schedule create a level of predictability few tokens enjoy. Recognizing these risks and watching for shifts in ecosystem adoption ensures you don't get blindsided if the next bull run takes an unexpected turn.
Hey Maddie, XRP or Ethereum?
XRP, hands down. XRP is one of those assets that allows people to transact any corner of the world under 3 to 5 seconds.
We've traced XRP's lightning-fast rails, the legal battles that nearly derailed it, and the catalysts poised to reignite its rise. Now the question is yours. Do you believe XRP will seize Bitcoin's dominance once again? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit subscribe if you're ready to stay ahead of the next crypto twist, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive.